Am I the oldest person? I'm obviously the smallest person here. Am I the oldest one as well? I'm from Impact Hub in Inverness, and I want to take you around about the Highlands just now, and feel free to join in. If you recognise any of these places, shout out the where. And you know where that is? That's a place. That's the road to Ullapool. 200 years ago, people lived there, and then they brought in machines in factories in places like Glasgow, and everybody left there to come here. That's strange, isn't it? Because now everybody's got their work in their pocket. And my job for the next 6 minutes is to get you to think about the next few years going back and living in places like that rather than being here. That's what we've set out to do. There used to be thousands of people living in the Highlands, enough to enable them to build monuments like this. And we think that the future of work will see people living back there. My boss insisted that we put in this picture so that you didn't all get too enthusiastic about coming. We have bitches of winter. But these are the things that in the past people lived in the Highlands, and we think in the future it will do. This is the map. Oh, you've got it wrong. This is the map that the Scottish Government wants you to see now. Scotland is not... It's not this wee bit down here where you happen to be living. Scotland is that. Inverness is actually in the middle. And you all say, oh, up to Inverness is an awful long way. And do you know where that is? God, there's not any Cracker Jack pencils going out today. No, it's not the Black Isle, but it's very close. That's Orkney. Orkney is the place in Scotland where more businesses per head of population are started than anywhere else, and you all thought it was Glasgow. Now, what happens if you live in one of those small communities and you've got to do all the things that you get in Glasgow for nothing? You know how the council supplies you with care for the elderly and transport and all those sort of things? In communities like that one in Orkney, you have to do it yourself. That's why there are 2,500 social enterprises in the Highlands and Islands, and you've only got a few thousand down here. Anybody recognise that? God, is there anybody here from Scotland? That's Egg. Egg is an island which was bought by its inhabitants about 20 years ago. They now own the island. They build their own houses. They've got their own shop. They've got their own school. And they've got their own electricity. They create it themselves. I love it when a community does that. Do you know where that is? Oh, thank God. Must be some Americans here. That castle, the reason I'm showing you that castle is because we bought an office that has that view. And you know where that is? No, I didn't think you would. Sapporo in Japan. Just put it in to keep you awake. We were there about 3 years ago, and when we were there, one of the things that we discovered was this organization called Impact Hub. An Impact Hub is a network of places like this. That's where they are all over the world. There's about 100 of us. So we've got the tiniest one in Inverness. And we've got all these links to all of these other places. And that's where we think that work will be going in the future. We think that people will be living differently. They'll be living in places that they're not living just now. They'll all be linked. And if in the space of a year we can find that there are 40 people living round about Inverness, artists and contractors and all sorts of folk who've been working at their kitchen table, and they've got the machinery, they don't need to be in an office. But you know what they need? They need company. Imagine if you're there. That's north of Lewis. I know nobody knows that. That's a peat bank somewhere north of Stornoway. And people live there. And they need company. If they're sitting out on their own, they need to be able to come somewhere and be together. There's another one. Wouldn't you rather work in that office there in Gairloch rather than being stuck somewhere that you have to commute for 2 hours on a bus? These are the messages I'm trying to get you to take aboard here. Come and live in these places. So you've got all these folk living on their own, doing all sorts of contract work. And when you put them in to a place together, you get an architect, a woman that runs a multinational aid organization, another woman who works for a mental health charity, another one who is a chief executive. You put them all in together, and the architect says, do you know what? I hate working with other architects. They're really boring, but I really love working in here. And they sit down, all these folk who've got different backgrounds and different professions, and they do these things. Every week they sit down and they find out if there's any contracts that they can bid for together. So there you go. Nobody will know this. That's a beach. That's Tarrant-Sea, the island over there. You could be there. The jobs that you are doing in this generation, you could be there. You don't need to be doing an hour commuting all the time. You could be somewhere like that. Think of it just for a wee moment. You could be an artist going back to your roots, back to where the raw materials are made. That's Uist wool in North Uist. Think of the artistic potential that there is when you're actually there, surrounded by the raw material. And if you think it's really far away, that's the beach in Barra. You could live in Barra and you could get to Glasgow quicker than you can even get to Edinburgh with your fast train. 45 minutes will get you from the beach in Barra, and it's great fun. But you don't get trolley service. You do get to land on a beach. So there's your future, folks. That land is empty. It's got Wi-Fi. It's got some transport links. It's got a different way of looking at the world. And I think that that's the choices that people will be making in the future. It's the direction that it will go in. But there is one thing for certain, because I've seen it, and I'm the oldest person here. People will choose to work with people. I can't predict what they will do as far as the machinery is concerned. And I can't predict what new practices will come out with human resources. But they will still want to do next year work with the same people. There you go.